In this video, we will look at how to use MyStatLab for our homework assignments. So here on the home page, as always, we click on the weekly modules link. And under the course orientation and resources, I've already got a page up with helpful tips for MyStatLab if you prefer reading it. But this video just gives a deeper dive with a demonstration on some of these tips. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go to Chapter 3 Homework, for instance. And once you've registered with MyStatLab using an access code or the 2-week trial, once you click on any of the homework assignments, it should open up the homework for you. So here you'll notice that here are our homework problems. There's never going to be more than 8 aside from Chapter 1. But I'm going to see, let's do question 1. Okay, great. You notice that another window pops up when I clicked on question 1. So it's important that you turn off your pop-up blocker on your browser. Otherwise, the screen won't appear. So what I want to highlight here is the question help here on the right, which will have a variety of tools that you can use to help you with your homework. So if we click on this, the Help Me Solve This button gives you a step-by-step approach on how to solve the problem. The thing about this is when you are working through it, it'll give you instructions, all the formulas you need, and will even show you what you need to do. So you can do the task, type in the answer, and then check it to see if it's right, and it will tell you if it's right or not. Once you get through all the homework, the thing about this is it does not give you credit for it because it guided you through the whole thing. So really what you're doing is essentially a practice problem of this when you use the Help Me Solve This. So we'll go ahead and close this. Another option that some students will do is they'll click on the View an Example. So similarly, the View an Example will give you the instructions and all the formulas on how to do it, but it's going to use it with a different data set. So the nice thing about that is you can read about how to do it and then similarly follow the same steps when you do your actual homework problems. You're only doing it the one time. What I advise is if you click on the question help here and click print, it will actually show you the entire example right here. And then what you can do is then have the homework right here next to the example, and you can follow along with the steps and only have to do the problem one time as opposed to with the practice, and then you'll get credit when you submit the answers. Now, other tools available, if you need to refer back to the textbook, you can click on this and it'll take you to the relevant chapter. There's StatCrunch if you don't have access to Excel, and what that'll do is it'll take the data and crunch it for you. Another thing that's helpful is the Ask My Instructor. So let's say you're working on this and you have a question, rather than rewriting the whole question out in an email and sending it to me, when you click Ask My Instructor, it takes the problem that you're working on, and you can type, how do I calculate the mean? And then hit send, and it will send your question and the specific problem with the data set to me. Because every student will get slightly different numbers in their homework problem, although the question itself is very similar. Okay. One more thing to know, for instance, here's a data set. There's this little icon with the boxes here. And what that does is it will take the data and import it into either StatCrunch or Excel for you to use. So for instance, if I click Open in StatCrunch, it takes my data and puts it right into the StatCrunch tool. And so you can take a look at this. It'll help you calculate different things. Maybe you want to graph something. Now, this class does not spend a lot of time on StatCrunch because the emphasis is in Excel. So you'll have to look at different tutorials or test out StatCrunch on your own. But if you are struggling, feel free to contact me. I will help you as best I can, although my emphasis is not on StatCrunch. It is on Excel. So for instance, 2, if I'm in here and I want to open an Excel, it will open the data set for you right here. And then now I can use the different formulas and functions in Excel, for instance, I'm going to just add this up. What if I wanted to see the sum of all my data? Right, so then I can now use Excel to do the homework and enter that in. So that's how you'll use some of the tools that are available to you in Question Help, and also how to copy the data sets that are in front of you as well. Let me look at another problem. Okay, so for instance, in this problem here, you see that there are 3 parts to the homework problem. Now, each part, you can get partial credit for it. And what I highlight is, let's say when you're going through the homework, if let's say you get the answer wrong, I'm going to hit this over and over. It tells me I'm wrong, and I do it again, check answer. It says I'm still wrong. Let me just throw in 100 now. Notice it says final check. You get 3 tries with an answer. And you'll also notice it says here, round to 2 decimal places as needed. So MyStatLab is very particular about its rounding. You need to make sure to read the instructions that are under the answer box so that you do the correct thing. I click final check, and it tells me, sorry, your answer is not correct, but it does give you a correct answer of 113.29. Make note of that because, for instance, if you go to the next part or next problem, it might require the correct answer from the last letter. So that'll save you some time so that you don't have to keep redoing problems over and over unless you want to. But you can at least get partial credit for like parts B and C later on using the correct answer that the homework gives you. Okay. You can attempt the homework problem an unlimited number of times if you're wanting to improve your score. I just advise students to limit yourself. Don't drive yourself nuts trying to do all the homework and be a perfectionist. It can be very stressful. You may also notice that under the question help, when you were using help me solve this or view an example, in the instructions it may say to use technology. MyStatLab keeps it vague because you might use technology in the sense of a calculator, StatCrunch, or Excel. You can choose in that sense. So you see here, after you click out of the homework, you can see which questions you got right or wrong. Wrong will be in red and correct will be in green. So after you've gotten through the homework, if you want to go back and make another attempt at a particular question because you got it wrong, you can always do that. Otherwise, if you have questions, just let me know.